once again. Dadbot Actual with the Ronin Training for another gear drop. And this time, we're talking guns. This happens to be my, or we should say the Ronin, my version of a Recce Rifle. The Recce, R-E-C-C-E, is the nomenclature, the nom de guerre, the name given to a specific type of rifle that the Naval Special Warfare guys, the SEAL teams, went to Crane Weapons Lab to have them build. It is a mix between an assaulter's rifle and a light sniper rifle, if you will, like a designated marksman rifle. This can fill the role of intermediate range shooting, and also if you had to enter a building or use it for any other typical applications, you definitely could. This one happens to be completely built by one of the most reputable companies out there, and that is Geissele. This is an entire Geissele build, and we will basically start from her beautiful rear end and head to the front. All done in flat dark earth, or as I like to say, tactical peanut butter. I'm running a B5 stock on here. These are one of my preferred stocks. It's got a pretty solid rubber pad to it. It sticks real well once you get it into your shoulder. And it's got attachments for some quick release sling swivels. Inside, you can see right here, there's one, and right in the rear is two. They're actually like corks, if you will. You can unscrew them and you can store 1, 2, 3 batteries in here, extra earplugs in there, chem lights, what have you, whatever you need to store in there. Just like most of your carbine stocks, completely adjustable. I am running moleskin on my stock. On my round stocks, I like to run moleskin because moleskin helps me get a really solid cheek weld. I don't slip when I'm putting my cheek on here and doing any kind of precision medium range shooting. I run moleskin on most of my rounded stocks and on my long range guns. Just a little trick that I picked up over the years, definitely helps out. We'll run it up here. Their battle grip, they're calling it, is hard textured, that they do laser wise on the rear. It's kind of done like the front strap of like a 1911. Excellent grippy grip when you definitely need it. The trigger guard is their drop and extended trigger guard. Again, there's the old G, it's Geissele. One of the awesome components of this rifle, right there, the Geissele 2-stage super trigger. This thing is phenomenal. It is super lightweight, it's adjustable, and I've got it, obviously, this weapon is empty, the chamber has been checked, just in case no round is inside that chamber. I want to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to take my stinky pinky and set it in here on this. I'm not even bending it around the trigger. I'm just simply setting it on there. There's the first stage of it. You saw the trigger move. Let me see if I can get it to do it again. There we go. There's our first stage right to the wall. And pow. Ultra lightweight trigger makes this weapon extremely accurate. The entire bolt carrier group on the inside, again, let me try to get it in focus there, is Geissele. Also, their heat-treated, laser-treated bolt carrier group, super strong. Their dual tactical charging handle, I can run it on either side. The big wings for good grip. Chamber and rounds is super easy. We have Geissele's signature M-lock rail, lightweight, plenty of mounting space for accessories. Little spot up here is again like on the buttstock for a quick release sling swivel. Super lightweight, very, very, very strong aircraft aluminum. A little bit thicker than some of the other handguards, but surprisingly it does not add much weight. You can also use these rail pads, if you will. You can adjust them and cut them as you want to fill on the inside of these rails. And then I wrap mine with athletic tape for a real solid grip. Coming up here to the end, I have a placeholder. That is a Surefire blast diffusing Warden, which is a fast attach, and it is currently taking up the real estate that my Surefire SOCOM suppressor will take once the government and the good folks over at the ATF see to it that they release my suppressor to me on my tax stamp. These are actually pretty cool. They protect your muzzle, and it really actually does make a difference with the blast coming out of it. This is a cold hammer forged, treated 16-inch barrel, so a little shorter than some of the long rifles for long range, and a little longer than some of your carbines. Again, the blast diffuser, the business end of it, really helps push the muzzle blast out and away from the rifle. Quick detach, hits the button just like the SOCOM suppressors, and it slides right off to reveal the Surefire close time war compensator. A little bit longer than a lot of compensators, almost like an A2 traditional compensator. That guy works phenomenally well for diffusing blast. This compensator paired with the Warden, you can see how it goes right through as opposed to a suppressor. There's no baffles. It just helps direct and focus the blast, the muzzle blast of the rifle forward of the shooter, so there's no sucking gas and there's no sucking dirt. Excellent system. I highly recommend it until your suppressor gets in. I am running a Flat Dark Earth Magpul bipod on here. I went with Magpul because, well, like everything else, polymer, plastic. I used to run the Harris bipods on mine, but the number one thing working in a super hot, humid environment like down here in South Florida is rust. Good old humidity, good old rain, rust. And my Harris bipods would rust something awful, and I was finding I would have to put in extra work at the end of a class or at the end of a training operation, and specifically put a lot of time and effort into cleaning my bipods with steel wool and stuff like that. So I switched it up. I found the Magpul. These things are phenomenal, super strong, adjustable for left and right tilt or cant, if you will. Simple push button to extend the legs. Another simple push button to drop the legs. Very, very easy to work with, very lightweight. Nice rubber pads on the bottom of them, stick to concrete or hard surface, and they are raised and they work well on a soft surface as well. So a pretty decent setup. I actually recommend these guys. They're phenomenal bipods and they will definitely surprise you. Now, up to the eyeballs of this rifle, I am running the Sig Sauer Tango 6T, which is a 1-to-6 power scope. This was the first generation. It was actually sent to me. This is going to be, if not already, the new issued optic for what's to be the standard issue infantry rifle. It's going to be replacing the M68, the Aimpoint, the EOTech, the Trijicon ACOGs. This is the name of the game these days, the low power variable optic, so it can switch from 1 power to 6 power very easily via this rotating ring. It has capped and protected windage, elevation knobs, so that once you get your zero, you can set it, forget it, cap them. You don't have to worry about banging and bumping the rifle around and throwing your fixed zero off. This is a first focal plane scope, which is, in my opinion, the way to go when it comes to optics. It's that much less of an issue you have to worry about. Your target can be ranged at any magnification inside of the optic, as opposed to a second focal plane when it has to be on its max magnification. This is IR compatible, infrared. I'm going to flip her over here, and you can see over here, which would usually be a parallax knob, is actually for the illuminated reticle in there. And I'll flip it up here, and let's see if we can get it. See where it says NV1, NV2? That is night vision compatible for a snap-on night vision optic that you can mount on the rail on top of your rifle for seeing in the dark. It came with a set of 30mm SIG rings in this one-piece mount, which is actually pretty rock solid, and I'm extremely impressed with the way it's set up. The reticle inside this, I wish I could show you guys. We're going to try to set it up to do a review on the reticle a little later. It is a horseshoe button reticle, they call it. So think of it like a horse's horseshoe turned upside down. I know, spilling out all that good luck. And then right in the middle is a nice fat red dot. And then just below that red dot is what they call a ranging ladder. It's basically a vertical line with horizontal lines marked out to 200, 300, 400, 500, and out to 600 yards. Now, once you zero this optic and you lock your caps in, it's got a zero stop to it. you are basically able to hold over, or hold under if you will, and effectively hit that range without really having to dial your scope. It also has horizontal dots and hash marks for windage, and you can basically get as best you can. One of the hardest things in medium to long range shooting is wind estimation. To the best of your ability, get a wind call and hold off on both distance and wind. So it is extremely versatile in what it allows you to do. It has, I would say, 6 or 7 different brightness settings. It works extremely well in really, really bright conditions, like out on the range in a bright summer day. And you can dim that thing right down to just barely, you can see it at nighttime, and it doesn't blow out your corneas there looking through it at night, so you can get a really good sight picture. Now, this rifle is my dedicated medium range rifle. That's usually what I use it for. That being said, I run very special ammunition out of it. I've got the magazine here. I'm running the Mark 262. See if I can get a good shot of it here. There we go. Open tip match. It is a 77 grain open tip projectile, 5.56 millimeter. This is probably the best round that you can get for the AR platform. Now, that being said, they're expensive. They are definitely not cheap. Good things are not cheap. I would not suggest stocking up on Mark 262 or 77 grain and using it for plinking. Your 55 grain or your 62 grain work just fine for that. I save the 77 stuff for when I'm, again, medium to long range shooting. It is not a hollow point. It is an open tip match. It helps it with the aerodynamics of the round as it's moving through the air. It is a boat tail open tip match, meaning the rear end, the booty of the actual round is taken in more, again, for precise travel. It cuts right through the air. These 77 grain rounds are absolutely fantastic. They have excellent performance, and they have far superior terminal ballistic performance on soft targets than the standard issue SS-109, your 62 grain green tip, or your XM-193s. The 77 grain, again, like I said, is the way to go, but expensive. You can buy them in bulk on some ammo offers websites. I highly suggest it, and they run extremely well out of short barrel carbines. I've run these out of my 10.5-inch upper to great success. That's basically it, guys, for my mid-range blaster, my peanut butter gun. Thanks for tuning in once again. We really appreciate it. Hit like, drop some comments, give me some great ideas for some more stuff you guys want to see. Tune in next time, and always, as usual, find us at www.theronintraining.com, and we will catch you next time and see you out on the range. Hasta la vista, baby.